Drive home reviews after dark.
We just saw
Phil.
Snow White and the Huntsman. Phil Smith, along with Rob Mayers.
And I'm Rob Mayers, and this is Drive home reviews.
We're gonna try to do this in the dark, see how it turns out. It's been a long time since I believe Rob also have seen a premiere night movie.
Friday
night, I should say, premiere weekend.
Prime time, 8:30 showing.
Theater was a little packed. Had to get here pretty early, but we were fortunate to get some good seats, so it was all worth it.
A little uncomfortable, a little overcrowded, but that's the stuff you deal with on opening night.
Not usually our style, but we did it anyway. So as for the movie, initial reaction was I did like it, but it is a little bit long. It drags on through some slow parts that just drags, that they could have probably just cut out of the movie completely, and the plot would have still been okay, and I think it wouldn't have affected the movie too much. In particular, the whole boat village scene.
Yeah, that was so unnecessary. It dragged on for way too long.
And they could have just completely cut that out, and all the characters would have stayed.
Exactly.
Would have developed the same way, and you would have understood. But
I think the only thing they were really trying to accomplish with that was how the woman in the village sacrificed their beauty, so the queen would sacrifice them, because if they scarred their faces intentionally.
I don't even think that was the what I got out of it was the part that he came back, so he did care.
The archer?
Yeah.
I forget his name already.
No, the Huntsman.
Oh,
he left, and then he ended up coming back when he saw that the villain.
Yeah, the Huntsman, who I'm never gonna view as anybody other than Thor for the rest of his movie career.
They must make him a lot bigger looking in Thor.
Yeah, they buff up the muscles.
He's
for him
not.
there.
I mean, he's a big guy, but he's not nearly as big as he was in Thor.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a name in the movie, does he?
He's also a god in Thor, so you can give him some extra muscles
Huntsman,
there.
Right? He's not,
yeah, I think they just refer to him as the Huntsman. And I mean, my main thought from this movie was just how.
Oh boy,
we got some light issues. Was the darkness that we suddenly encountered in this? No, we're good. We're back. And
it looks like you're doing it with a flashlight.
What I thought was, I mean, after seeing Young Adult, Charlize Theron plays evil.
Yeah.
Like no one else, no other female lead actress today. Like Young Adult, she was a conniving bitch in as well, but this was just cold-hearted.
She plays
evil queen. She plays,
and her brother was a pretty good villain as well, because he's really creepy.
He's like a character from Lord of the Rings, isn't he? Like a weird,
creepy
elf.
So you didn't like him, you don't trust him, obviously, and then he also is just bad. But overall, like I said, I would say it was a pretty good movie. The action scenes were pretty great. Kristen Stewart, she's really hot, but she's not a bad actress. She's so typecast. Like,
yeah, she plays like that.
The whole time I just thought she was doing the girl from the Twilight movies, which I've never seen. But
have you?
No, I haven't.
All right.
But
yeah, I thought the same thing too. Except I thought her acting has improved over the years.
I don't think she's a bad actress. I just think like she just gives the same. It's always the same type of character.
Yeah, she's always like the quiet.
Torn, or like doesn't know, can't find herself, and like. But I mean, she was a good role for it. She fits the part pretty well.
And it could be another. They're already talking Snow White and the Huntsman too, so she could have
Dwarves
another.
Kicked ass.
She could have another huge series on her hand if this movie does well.
Dwarves.
Same thing with Thor.
Dwarves were pretty.
Yeah, the dwarves were great. Wasn't that cool that they were for any Shaun of the Dead Hot Fuzz fans? Nick Frost plays one of the dwarves in the movie, which is really cool to see him in that type of role. He had some funny one-liners.
They were definitely the comedic relief.
But as Phil said, I mean, I talked to my other friend today, and he said the same thing. It just, they could have probably cut out 25 to 30 minutes.
Easily cut out 30 minutes.
It was 2 hours and 7 minutes long. It could have easily been like an hour 45 movie and not lost any of its appeal or any of its enjoyment.
No. There was just a couple of scenes that, like I said, they didn't really add anything to the plot development or character development. So, I mean, at that point, if they're not action scenes, they're just entertaining, what's the point of them?
There's no story development, no entertainment value to certain scenes, but I mean, it slowed down the movie.
It's a good story, though.
Yeah.
It's a good story.
I mean, it's a classic fairy tale story.
And I like how they did stay true to a lot of the cartoon, and like a lot of the little things are the same that were in the cartoon. Like when they're in the forest and like all the animals and stuff. It's the same animals.
Fairies and the poison apple is really cool.
Yeah, that part was awesome.
The special effects were
pretty awesome.
Really, really well done. Yeah. Really well done. It makes you really appreciate those guys in this movie because that really sometimes it takes away from a movie, but this time it really added to it.
Yeah, man, cool. Not to sound like a weirdo, but weren't you like pulling for the Huntsman the whole time too?
Oh yeah,
like, like I was like
Thor.
I was, there was the part where you're like, oh, she's gonna fall for William.
No,
I was like,
you knew. I mean, the Huntsman had her back the entire movie. I mean, William, not that he intentionally. We're not going to say any more plot lines. We don't want to ruin it for you, but
I like that part. That part was cool. Like just the part
when they all converged.
When they all get together from there on out, it's like really good. But
yeah, and the action was really cool. The action was really cool at the end.
I'm trying to think of that whole boat scene was good.
Yeah, it was a weird boat village that had nothing to do. Whatever, you'll see it, but you won't enjoy it just like we did. So going into our ratings, both me and Phil discussed this on the way in. We both thought
both had pretty high expectations.
The advertisements were unbelievable. They did a great job marketing this movie. But if you know what I did, all of the stuff for the commercials was in the first 20 minutes of the movie. And that's why. I mean, there were slow parts and there were a couple of battle scenes they showed. But going off the ads, we were really impressed with it. And we thought 5 out of 5 expectations going in. I'm going to tone back my rating. I'm going to say like a 3.5 out of 5. Because it wasn't as good as I expected it to be based on the advertisements, what I was hoping, but it was still an enjoyable movie. But the slow parts made me bring it down to like a 3.5.
Yeah, you? I would say, I mean, expectations-wise, it definitely didn't meet my expectations. I expected it to be more action.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a war. I thought there was going to be like more of a war type feel, like story. Maybe that's just because I didn't research.
Well, it's also the way they marketed it, too.
So it didn't really reach my expectations. I'll give it a 3. But as for entertainment, I mean, I'll give it a solid rating for entertainment. I mean, I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5 for entertainment-wise. I was just as entertained today as I was yesterday for Men in Black 3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't say I was like, I didn't want to leave or anything. So for that, I'll give it a 4.5. But expectations-wise, it felt, I would say it was like a 3 out of 5. It didn't meet my expectations. So overall, I guess like a 3.5.
So we're kind of on the same page here. Maybe you liked it a little bit more than I did, but we both enjoyed it. So, all right, we'll wrap up another edition of Drive Home Reviews.
We don't know if there's going to be a next one.
There might be one,
but
we'll see. Just stay tuned on the blog. You'll see.
Yeah.
For Phil Smith and Rob Mayers, this is Drive Home Reviews.
Nightcap. Drive safe.